there was one moment that changed my life forever, and that was the moment that I let go of fear. See, I spent the majority of my life living in fear of failure, fear of success, just fear that I'd never amount to anything in my life. But the moment I let go, I was able to find my purpose. And if you're someone who's feeling stuck, maybe you don't have clarity about what next steps to take in your life, but you know that you're meant for something, you're meant for more, but maybe it's a little foggy for you, my story should give you some clarity about what next steps you need to take in life and how you too can go from rock bottom where I was at or wherever you're at now to finding your purpose and feeling whole and fulfilled every day. Because before I found my purpose, I remember waking up every morning not caring whether or not I woke up because I hated my life. My life felt like hell on earth. I hit my rock bottom, I hit my floor. I was working a job I hated, making $500 a week, living with my parents. I was out of shape. My girlfriend had just dumped me. I had 2 knee surgeries. I got fat. I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I had every bad habit you can name: smoking, drinking, vaping, doing drugs, partying, fucking random girls, watching pornography, just so many bad habits, and I wasn't doing anything to help myself. Now, you might not be in as bad a scenario as I was, but if I made it here and I was in that spot, and when I say here, I'm currently living in a luxury 2-bedroom apartment in Florida. I'm in incredible shape. I've built a business. I've taken so many risks over my life, but most importantly, I've found my purpose and I feel whole and fulfilled every single morning. I genuinely love my life. I love the man that I've become, and you can do the same thing. See, let me take you back to 2022 and explain how I got to this point so that you can make whatever change you need to make in your life so that you can move forward. See, in 2022, I hit my rock bottom. Like I highlighted to you, I was in a bad financial situation. I, had just got dumped. I was out of shape. But the worst part of all of it wasn't all that. It was the fact that I had to look myself in the eye every morning when I looked in the mirror and see someone who physically was out of shape, but internally was dying. I mean, I hated myself. I masked this giant ego to people so nobody knew how bad I was really hurting, but I hated myself. I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe in myself, and I thought my life was chalked. So the job I was working was a job doing insurance. And in order for me to finally make money doing insurance, I had to pass an exam so I can get a license at my job. Now, I had bounced from job to job. I was always looking for the quick fix, the easiest job to make the easiest money. And I had failed, I tried to do mortgages before that, and I failed multiple tests to get my mortgage license. I sucked in school. I was just a fucking loser. And I remember, before even trying to study for the test, take the test, I thought I was gonna fail for sure. I thought this was the end of my life right here. And I remember having to sit down with my best friend who was doing well for himself and just telling him, like, man, I can't pass this exam. I'm a loser. Maybe I'll just try and get a physical labor job. Like, I can't do this. Sip of coffee. And he basically told me, look, man, you've never actually applied yourself, Devin, for anything in your entire life. And he was right. I never actually tried to do anything. I never fully applied myself and indulged into anything in my life because I don't think subconsciously I thought I could do it. And he's like, look, man, if you just try, like you have to try, just study, do your best, and I guarantee you'll pass. So I really sat on the idea. Mind you, I was at the floor. This was the only way to save my life, essentially. I needed something. So I complied. I said, you know what? I'll study. So I locked myself away in my room for 2 months. Just studied. And I remember reading the words on the page and it just going in my eyes and out of my head. I just couldn't even comprehend the words because of how much I didn't give a fuck about what I was studying. But I forced myself and I just grinded. And I remember the day of the exam came and I genuinely thought I was going to fail because I didn't think, I had failed at everything in my life to that point. So I thought I was going to fail. And day of the exam came And it was like at this testing center, and you know, you walk in, they have to like security check you and whatever. And it was all on a computer. And so I took the test, and you know, you press finish and the little loading screen comes on, and I was pretty certain that I failed. But, you know, somehow by the grace of God, I passed by 1 point. And I just remember that was the most joyful experience I've ever had in my life. That was by far the best day of my life. I remember almost screaming when I saw the 76, because you need a 75 to pass. I got a 76. I literally could not believe that I passed that exam. On the way out of the testing center, they make you like sign papers. I couldn't even sit still. I had the passing exam confirmation sheet. I remember driving home. I almost crashed my fucking car. I was so excited. I ran in. I gave my mom a big hug. And then I went back to work at the job I was working at. And there was this coworker I had who didn't believe I was going to pass. He thought I wasn't going to pass. I remember shoving that in his face. And that moment changed everything. Because the reason I never applied myself, looking back, was because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid that if I actually put all my effort into something and I failed, it would prove to myself internally that I actually wasn't worth shit. And that's why I never took risks. That's why I was so scared all the time to actually apply myself and try and do something. Because I knew if I just half-ass shit, I can never truly know whether or not I'm actually a failure. So it gave me like that comfort to like, oh, maybe I'm not a failure. I don't know. It was this weird comfort zone. I told myself I was comfortable, but I was really done. But that moment changed everything for me, because that was the first time I applied myself and I got a result. And so as I sat on that over the next couple of hours after I passed, I'm like, wait a fucking minute. You mean to tell me I told myself I'm going to try. I actually tried, and it worked. So if I could apply myself and pass an exam, what else can I apply myself and do? And all of a sudden, my gears started turning. And what I didn't realize in that moment was subconsciously, my ambition started growing immediately. I started thinking of, maybe I could achieve this. Maybe I could achieve this. And I realized I had all these dreams for myself. I had all these things I wanted to do with my life that I had been suppressing subconsciously because I didn't think I was meant for shit and I was terrified to fail. But once I realized I've already lost everything, I could apply myself and win. I said, you know what? I want to get in great shape. But I really, for the first time, believed I could do it, and a few months later, I got to 10% body fat. Best shape of my life. I felt fucking incredible. I'd never been in that good shape before. Right after that, I got a girlfriend. Best girlfriend I had ever had. She was everything I wanted. Right after that, I got the job I had been longing for. I finally got my first real job, making real money. I was feeling like the fucking man. Now, before I continue, please understand, all these things that started happening was a result of me passing that exam. And where the risk came into place was I was scared to go all in on myself on anything. That's the biggest risk. In my head, I was so scared to go all in and prove to myself that I was a failure. But after passing that exam, I realized the biggest risk of all was having fear. The biggest risk of all was staying where I was at. The biggest risk of all was not taking risk. Because, hear me out, got the girlfriend, right? Got the job. Then I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make real fucking money. I want to be my own boss. So I started an Amazon FBA business. Did it on the side while I was working my now very good job, and I had a nice girlfriend. Shortly after that, my girlfriend and we moved out. So now I was living on my own with my girlfriend, working my 9-to-5 job while also working my Amazon FBA business. Then I scaled my Amazon FBA business to the point where I got my own warehouse. I had my own employees in my own office while still working my 9-to-5 job, while still managing my business, my relationship with my girlfriend, and living on our own. So I was on top of the world. Now all of a sudden I got motion. I'm at 10% body fat. I'm living with a hot girlfriend on my own. I got my own business. I got an employees. I'm working a job. I'm just like fucking Superman. And I blinked. And I was Superman all of a sudden. But just a year before that, I was a fucking loser. That's how quickly it changes when you get a little bit of proof to believe in yourself. You can't do that if you're scared. You have to put all your chips on the table. Because guess what? All this momentum builds. Then me and my girlfriend go take a trip to Florida, and I realize, oh yeah, I forgot. I've always wanted to live in Florida. You know what? I'm going to do that. Unfortunately, I had to break up with my girlfriend. So I dumped her. And then I had to get rid of my lease at my apartment. I had to break my lease. I had to restructure my contract at my job so that I could move. I had to get rid of my Amazon warehouse. I had to fire my employees and restructure my business to be fully remote. All these things I had to do, but I never once doubted that I could do it, even though on paper it's like, that seems like a lot. No, I made it fucking happen. And from the point of taking a vacation to Florida 2 months later, I was living here in a 2-bedroom apartment, working fully remote because I restructured my contract at my job, left the girlfriend, left my family behind, left everyone I knew behind to go after what I wanted. Literally, I went on vacation 2 months later, I was here. Everything I envisioned for myself, I made happen in basically 2 months. And then I just blinked and looked back and I was like, wait, I was just fucking fat and lost in life like a year ago. How did I do this? Because then when I got here, it didn't stop. I then got a better job making 6 figures, fully remote. And then I realized, you know what? Amazon is not my passion. I'm passionate about fitness. I'm passionate about helping people, but not just helping people do what the fuck I just did for myself. So I started an online coaching business. Just a couple of months into the online coaching business, and I finally realized, holy shit, this is my purpose. Look at everything I've been through. Look at how down bad I was. Look at where I am today. I can help people do this shit too. And then I realized, oh my God, this is my passion, my calling, because not only, am I here healthy, happy, I'm sober, I found God, I know my purpose now because that was my purpose. Oh my God, I have a relationship with God now, I know my purpose. And I was like, whoa, oh my God, this surge of energy, my life's changed. So I started to focus on the coaching, and then a couple months into the coaching, I'm going all in on this. Then I quit my job in April. And here I am today, working for myself, helping people, coaching them. I'm not sure what happened there. Helping people, coaching them to become the best version of themselves. And I'm happy. I'm confident. I'm in great shape. All these things. And I was just a bum not very long ago. And the reason I'm making this video is because if I didn't take that one risk of putting all my chips on the table saying I'm going for this one thing, I wouldn't be here. But the same way a negative spiral happens in life where something bad happens and they say bad things happen in 3, that's just because that's what you focus on. When one bad thing happens, you focus on that bad thing and you get more of it. But the same way a negative spiral happens in life, an upward spiral happens as well. But that can't happen if you don't put aside your fears for a moment to do whatever it is you want to do and build some confidence and momentum and take risks. Because here's the thing, if you are like me and you had this hidden desire for more and these goals you want to achieve, etc., but you don't take action on those things, then the biggest risk is that you stay where you are because you know you're meant for more. And if you just get one little small win, you can compound that into multiple wins. And like myself, you might look back and have a completely different life very soon. Anything you want is on the table for you. But if you want to find your purpose, if you want to wake up and have clarity and know who you are and get in great shape and maybe start a business or whatever it is you want to do, the very first thing you need to do is put your fear to the side and get your first win. Get the ball rolling like I did. That could be as simple as, hey, I'm going to start waking up earlier. I'm going to set my alarm and I'm going to actually do it. Or it's going to be, hey, I'm going to start eating better and start eating clean. Eating metabolic foods, etc. It's the thing is, when you set out to do something, no matter how big or small, and you don't do it, you are training your subconscious mind that you can't trust yourself, like you're a liar. It's like if you had a girlfriend, right? And she cheated on you. But then she cried and pleaded, oh, it's never going to happen again. Please take me back. And you found it in your heart to take that woman back. But then she did it again. And she did the same thing. Oh, please, it's never going to happen again. And then again, and then again. Would you trust that woman? No. You'd probably leave her. But this is what you're doing to yourself when you say, I'm going to wake up early. And then you don't do it. I'm going to start eating clean. And then you don't do it. And you wonder why you're stuck. You wonder why you're feeling like I was feeling, where you feel like nothing's happening for your life. You don't know what next steps to take. You don't have clarity. Well, first you need momentum. That comes. The path illuminates as you walk it, but you need that momentum before anything else. And the only way to get that momentum is to just pick one small thing that you say you're going to do and start doing it every day. Build your win. You probably don't have an insurance exam to go pass. So the next best thing, get in great shape. Start going to the gym. Commit 4 days a week, every day for the next couple months. You might be like me and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I'm applying myself. I'm seeing results. What else can I do? This is the way that it goes. And the path illuminates as you walk it. You will structure what you want to do with your life as you walk. But if you keep sitting still, not moving, you're not taking any risk, you're just staying where you are, you have some muscle, but you have body fat, you have all these dreams, and you're not doing shit, you're just this average, mediocre human being. That's the biggest fucking risk. The biggest risk I ever took was taking none. Because if I didn't change, I'd still be living with my parents broke as shit. I probably would have fucking offed myself by now. I hated who I was. Now I love who I was. And if you would have told me a few years ago that this would be the case, I wouldn't have believed you. But it's these things, we do it to ourselves. So I'm making this video to show you, I was a loser. Now I'm here. I still have a long way to go. I still have so many things that I'm working on and building myself into. And self-development is a never-ending journey. And I'm passionate and happy to be a coach, to be able to help people, to be able to, show men how to do what I did in their own version, in their own life. And that's my passion and my calling, but I never would have found it if I stayed where I was at. So I encourage you, start getting small wins. Let that snowball ride that momentum and just keep taking risks, because you will figure it out. And oftentimes, the things that we create in our minds of what could be the biggest risk, what could happen, is worse than the actual worst thing that can happen. It's these fears we create in our mind, but fear doesn't exist. And the most common phrase in the Bible, said over 300 times, is fear not. Because fear doesn't exist. It's not real. We created it in our minds. So put aside your fear. And the only way you're going to get momentum is to take an action on something small, build that confidence internally as I did, and sooner or later your purpose will reveal itself, and that clarity will reveal itself. But the thing is, we get so caught up in, I'm not going to take any action, for example, in fitness, because I got to get the perfect meal plan, and I got to get the perfect consistency, and I got to get the perfect, training split. No. You just have to take the first step. The rest will illuminate as you walk. And it's the same thing with any goals you have in life. Maybe you want to be rich, and don't worry about the how, okay? Don't worry about the how. You have the intention. Intention was put there by God. Follow it. Walk towards it. Go towards the fucking light. Take that first step. Do something. Take action. Build some momentum, and God will illuminate the path as you walk it, and your purpose will be revealed. But the longer you sit still, the further it's going to feel. So get off your ass today. After watching this video, go take action. Go do something. Do something, please, for the love of God. Because I don't want to see anyone suffer the way I suffered for 23 years. I'm only 26 now. 23 years of my life was a fucking nightmare. It was hell. But I don't want to see that be you. So, right now, write something down you're going to do tomorrow morning and fucking do it. Build that momentum. And if you want help, just shoot me a message on Instagram and I'm happy to talk to you. The Instagram's in my description. But take action. Action is the only way you will find your purpose, and it will be revealed to you. Hope this video was helpful.